What's up everyone, it's your girl Jay and welcome to Weekly Wrap Up, a show where I talk about the hottest topics in K-pop word today. So let's get started with some mess. On February 21st, the official site of entertainment company Bighit Entertainment, home to popular boy group BTS, was hacked. K-pop news site All K-pop reported that if you entered Bighit's site under the Notice tab, the MV for BTS's new track Not Today was replaced by JYP girl group's Twice's MV for their latest single Knock Knock. Fans also captured video of Knock Knock auto-playing on the Bighit homepage, with the normal site display being replaced by an eerie screen that read, "Touched by Unknown." Now, of course, this incited a lot of mess because, for those of you who don't know, quite the competition has been brewing between BTS and Twice's respective fandoms, ARMY and ONCE, due to both of their recent comebacks overlapping, and more importantly, their comeback MVs dropping on the same day. Well, in BTS's case, their second MV. Ever since BTS's music video for Not Today and Twice's music video for Knock Knock dropped on the 20th, there's been a bit of a rivalry stirring up regarding which MV would be able to rack up the most views. So, as you can probably guess, many people deducted that this hacking must have been done by a Twice fan, both as a way to attack BTS and be able to rack up views for Twice's MV from ARMY visiting the site. Now, as petty as it seems, this is actually kind of a serious situation, as it's a pretty big step up from the usual fan war shenanigans. Many people went into sleuth mode and began connecting dots to try to decipher who exactly was behind the hack. Now, after connecting these dots, it was said that the hacking may have been done by a for-hire Indonesian hacking group. Now, regardless of, the specifics and technicalities, I honestly do believe that it probably wasn't a once, for a couple reasons, but the main thing being, if you were going to do something as severe as hack a site, why would you do something that could potentially let people on to who hacked it? By doing all this, you would essentially bring Twice in their fandom more hate. But regardless of exactly who's behind the hacking, this is lame. I mean, y'all are really out here hacking sites on behalf of K-pop. How petty can you get? Overall, I feel like the main focus should be on Bighit and BTS. Of course it's going to be alarming and shocking to have your homepage, your website be hacked, because who knows what kind of information is in there. Moving on. So these online charts are out here trying to make sure your faves never get cacks, packs, or roof hits again. So some recent news regarding the real-time charts has really shaken up the K-pop fandom. Melon, Bugs, Genie, Soribara, Naver Music, Monkey 3, Mnet, and more plan on implementing a big change to how these real-time charts work. The charts will soon change so that rankings are only taken from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. While the charts will still remain, like you'll still be able to see them, the data to determine the ranking will only be taken from that time interval. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is that among idol groups, midnight releases are very, very popular. At midnight, usually, the general public will be asleep. So they won't be streaming, they won't be listening to music. This in turn makes streaming done by a fandom more influential over what's being shown in the chart. So basically, fans can mass stream and in a way kind of manipulate the charts to have their faves rank higher. And not only rank higher, get things like all kills, roof hits. So it seems like this whole change is kind of to control that fandom manipulation and get a better reflection of what the general public's looking for. But I also read that it seems to also be an attempt to try to quell things like Bighit as well. So I guess the biggest questions and concerns coming out of this is, one, whether this will really be able to put an end to that fandom manipulation, and two, whether it's really such a big deal that they need to do something about it. Now, in my opinion, when there's a will, there's a way. Even though that, general public streaming versus what your fandom's trying to do can sometimes be at odds, I feel like for the really, really big fandoms, I feel like they'll still have enough influence to get their faves up there. And in some cases, because I know there are certain groups and fandoms that people were clowning because of this, namely boy groups. But I feel like sometimes the discrepancy between what they rank at night and what they rank during peak hours is not that different. Now, don't get me wrong, when, fandoms have their faves songs or albums lining the top 10, that's a bit much. But when it comes to title tracks, sometimes, it may be 1 during midnight and in night hours, and then maybe go down to like 6 during peak hours, which in my opinion is not that big of a deal. But there are some people complaining that, while this is kind of attack against these bigger fandoms and try to quell their influence, but people have also been criticizing and talking about how fandoms of groups that don't have as much recognition sometimes need this and use this as a way to promote their fave. So say it's a group with like a pretty strong fandom but not very well known. Well, if they debut at midnight, there might be somebody who writes maybe 1 or 2 articles about it. Then that's more exposure. Yes, maybe it drops down to the 90s during peak hours, but that's not necessarily because it's bad, it's just that nobody knows them. So I kind of get both sides of the straw. So last but not least, Eric Nam had to learn that you can never really delete something off the internet. So on February 16th, singer and 1/3 of the Holy Trinity that created Cave Me In, Eric Nam shocked fans everywhere when he tweeted, "My company don't respect me. Nah, this ain't hacking, this is the truth." Now, before we could even freaking freak out about these 2 tweets, he almost immediately deletes them. So of course everyone's like super crazy confused, and the more messier side of the K-pop fandom was like, don't stop now, we need the tea. Well, before things could get too messy, his label B2M said, oh no, not today. And on the 17th issued the statement regarding the incident. Rather than there being a problem, it was more of a misunderstanding. Celebrities have issues with their labels sometimes. It seems he was tired at night and he ended up making the post. He was disappointed by some things, and it's probably because he just filmed for Life Bar and was tired. We already discussed what happened at length. Now here's the thing. I feel like I would have been more like reassured if Eric said this, but there's just something weird with him tweeting this out and then his company clarifying what was wrong. Because it just seems like one of those things where they're just like, nothing to see here. It's perfect. But at the same time, though some of me wants to go off on my let Eric free tangent, since Eric deleted it so swiftly and then didn't talk about it again, maybe he was just, at a really low moment and then quickly was like, wait, what am I doing? Don't want to start this, and snatched it back. Either way, and I always talk about this with my sister, social media is probably PR agents and company representatives' worst nightmare, because back before, there was Twitter and Instagram and things like that, if an idol or an artist wanted to make a statement, it had to be through the company and through a press outlet, very formal. But because of that, the company could clock and check basically everything they said. But nowadays, getting a message out to your fans is as easy as posting something to Twitter or Instagram. And the company can't really do much other than damage control afterwards. So it's a very interesting thing. I think it's very cool because now we can really know what these idols and celebrities are thinking. But at the same time, it is a lot of power in the sense that if you have just a moment where you're really, really pissed, you might end up saying something you regret, or saying something you didn't mean, or saying something that starts a whole entire situation and opens a whole can of worms that you did not want to open. But of course, as always guys, that's just my opinion and I want to know yours. So which is it? Do you think whoever hacked a BTS site say was a true once or an anti-fan of BTS and Twice that just wanted to incite mess? And how do you think Big Hit Entertainment should handle finding and reprimanding whoever did do this? What do you think about the news that the real-time charts will be switching up how they take their data to only include peak hours? Do you think it's a good thing that larger fandoms will no longer be able to be as influential, or do you think they're hurting fandoms in the process? And last but not least, what do you think about Eric's random tweets? Do you think it was just a false alarm, or do you think it was one of those shady situations where an idol is being silenced? Let me know down below, and as always guys, if you like the video, make sure to like the video. If you love the video, make sure to share the video. And if this is the first time you're ever seeing my videos or seeing me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That's it for today, and see you next time. Bye!